This very well may be one of the strangest strategies ever done by any organization, much less the largest precious metals company in the world. Let's talk about it as we explore. There has been a press release that was just released by A-Mark Precious Metals. That's right, this company right here that's been around since 1965. We'll get into that in a moment. But they have done something really weird. And I'm telling you, it's got me quite confused. And I'm not sure how to really interpret this. I'm trying to make sense of the strategy behind it. But I can't make sense of it. It is that odd. We'll try to, though, as we make our way through what this press release says. But you know what? A-Mark Precious Metals, as you know, has been growing tremendously and gobbling up a bunch of precious metals companies out there. And I'll tell you what, I like the independents. You know, there's a lot of companies that have been under the wing of A-Mark Precious Metals, but companies like Summit Metals, well, they are independent. And they're fast growing and able to compete with some of the big names that fall under the A-Mark umbrella. To experience their great customer service yourself, check them out by clicking on the link in the description below. Now, El Segundo, California is where this press release comes out of. A-Mark Precious Metals, a fully integrated alternative assets platform that offers an extensive range of precious metals, numismatic coins, and collectibles to consumers, collectors, and institutional clients worldwide, today announced a corporate rebranding initiative. Yes, I'm going to stop right there. Now, just think about what I just read, that they are an extensive the company that is fully integrated with an extensive range of precious metals, numismatic coins, and collectibles to consumers. That is a pretty large encompassing thing. They got bragging rights on that, that's for sure. They are involved in a whole lot of different things, but they're not now going to change their name to something much more focused, much more narrow, very narrow in focus, to, wait for it, gold.com. Yeah, and not just gold, but they're going to name themselves after a URL. Go figure. I'm scratching my head on that one. What the heck are they doing? That will change to this rebranding initiative that will change its name to gold.com and transfer its common shares from the NASDAQ to the New York Stock Exchange. Now, that aspect, I'm not going to question that. If they want to do that, that's fine, and maybe there's a good strategy for doing that. I'll go for it, But this will come effective on December the 2nd, 2025. The shares of the company, to be known as gold.com, are expected to trade under the symbol GOLD. Now, most of you know about the ETF, GLD. Well, this is going to be GOLD. Now, I don't know. To me, maybe the strategy here is hopefully people will, thinking they're going to invest in an ETF, they mistakenly type out GOLD and they're investing in the world's largest precious metals company. Well, it's a little disingenuous if that's what they're doing. I don't know. If that's the whole strategy behind this, well, that's a little bit strange to me. They can do it. Obviously, it's totally legal. There's no question about that, but it just seems weird that they would do that, and they would need to do it. Why would they need to confuse people? It's so strange. Anyways, here's what the press release continues to say. This strategic evolution better aligns the company's corporate identity with its category leadership in precious metals, coins, currency, and other collectibles, with services spanning direct-to-consumer wholesale, sales, and ancillary services, including proprietary, minting, logistics, and secure storage and capabilities, and secured lending, with $11.9 billion in revenues for the 12 months ending on September 30th, 2025, and a strong balance sheet. Gold.com will operate as one of the most comprehensive vertically integrated precious metal platforms for corporate from global customers, retailers, collectors, and institutional clients. That's stuff that I've been talking about in other videos I've done about the company with their press releases. That is a huge bragging right. No question about that. You know what? And honestly, hey, God bless them. They're getting bigger. But imagine, if you are a food company and you serve all kinds of international foods, and you have a distribution and all of that stuff, and you decide to call yourself ChineseTakeout.com. But yet you offer all these different kinds of foods from Ethiopia, from Sudan, from Thailand, from Vietnam, from Japan, from Mexican, all these different kinds of foods, and you decide to call yourself ChineseTakeout.com. That's about what kind of sense this makes to me. It's very strange. Gold is a great metal, and certainly it is performing quite well compared to other metals out there. It is by some nature the king of precious metals, but you know what? I bet you they get more revenue overall from silver than they do gold. So why don't they call themselves silver.com? Well, there's a good reason for that. Well, not only because they think it's second tier, because in many cases, when you look at the way that it has infiltrated our society, silver is second best, right? It is second place. But not only that, but they already own the domain silver.com. That's right. That is under the bullion umbrella, silver.com. And so that's why that is. But silver.com is a front-facing website where you can buy precious metals. But gold.com is not going to be that. So there's a little bit of confusion there as well. Maybe people think when they enter in gold.com, they'll be able to go to buy precious metals. That will not be the case, at least that I know of. Who knows, though? But the website is up, but only has one link, and that's to this press release. So this gold.com perfectly encapsulates our identity. Well, I just gave you an example how it doesn't. ChineseTakeout.com for the food industry would be an equivalent to this. He says the white space in front of the business as we fortify our category leadership and work to define the future of precious metals, numismatics, and other collectibles, said Gregory N. Roberts, CEO of A-Mark. Gold's history as the original store of value goes back generations, as does our heritage as a steward of the industry since our founding in 1965. We're thrilled to continue growing and building on this foundation, now under this dynamic new home that reflects our forward-thinking and trusted approach. This name change is just the first step in positioning ourselves for long-term success, enhancing our operational excellence, and delivering value for our customer partners and shareholders. So there is their logic behind it. But in my example for the International Foods company, this little made-up company that I'm talking about here, they may think that Chinese takeout is the gold standard of international foods. It's really up to opinion. Now, obviously, we know that the overall culture is that gold is the top dog, but nonetheless, why change? Honestly, I do think that A-Mark kind of is a pretty appropriate name. A is the first letter of the alphabet. It is first. They have made their mark. Why change since 1965 to now? It just seems crazy. That's 60 years? Just hang on to A-Mark Precious Metals is what you've been known for. It's a brand that has been around for so long and so well established that I think it's probably going to cause more confusion, but that's just me. The press release goes on to say that while Gold.com will serve as a corporate brand, A-Mark's direct-to-consumer segment will continue to operate through its portfolio of trusted brands and channels, including J.M. Bullion, Stacks and Bowers Galleries, and others. So, interesting. So, direct-to-consumer aspect of it will be A-Mark. It still is a little bit strange how that has played out because, remember, Silver.com is part of that segment, and so it is very, very strange that they're separating in that way and making that difference. Additionally, the company's wholesale, sales, and ancillary services will continue to operate under the A-Mark name. Collateral Finance Corporation, the company's wholly owned California licensed finance lender that originates and acquires commercial loans secured by bullion, numismatics, and sports cards, will also retain its name. So, okay, all right, there you go. So there's a distinction there. It's a very strange thing. I don't know. To me, it's more confusing than not. But investor interest in gold and silver has surged in recent years, and as we expand into additional high-growth adjacent categories, including fine wines, sports cards, and other collectibles, Now is the ideal time to update our name as we revolutionize how these assets are managed and transacted, which makes this even more confusing. So they're going to get into wines, sports cards, and other collectibles under the moniker gold.com. Scratching my head on that one. Very odd. Furthermore, transferring to the New York Stock Exchange provides strong credibility and a tremendous opportunity to leverage the public markets as we continue to expand and execute our strategic growth plan. So they will design a range of gold and silver bullion bars that feature the new name and logo. So you're going to get a gold and silver bar you're going to get a silver bar that says gold.com on it. There's another head scratcher. A company that will be involved in wines and sports cards. Talk about, it's crazy. I'm almost about ready to take my scalp off for how much I'm scratching my head to try to get the logic behind this. Very, very strange. A silver bar with gold.com on it. Anyways, and these will be available from JM Bullion. Sunshine Minting, the Las Vegas company, which A-Mark holds a 45% equity interest, which also works with sovereign entities such as the United States Mint and Royal Canadian Mint, and the Royal Mint will manufacture the product. So there you go. You're going to get your gold.com gold bar and the silver bar, and you'll be able to get them. So there you go. Interesting. Fascinating indeed. And then it goes on in this post to talk about other areas of the company's wide-ranging services. You know, I don't know. I don't understand this, but there it is. And it'll be very fascinating to see how this plays out. Just to confuse folks, but I thought I'd bring you the news. It's what I do here on this channel. As strange as it may be at times, that is what is going to be coming on December the 2nd. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.